And friends, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'd like to discuss mindset. So let's get right into it. So first off, I would like to try and understand, rather explore, which is, this video will be more exploratory rather than defining or even maybe informative for that matter. I'm sure it will be. But this is a bit of a divergence from the other videos that I've done, which usually surround the INTJ personality type. Now, I don't think these things are separate, because I think under the umbrella of personality, psychology, maybe even spirituality, you will find a lot of these kind of things intermingle anyway, because we're very complex creatures, and humanity and humans in general have very complex interactions with each other, and that is reflected with almost everything we do. So I think firstly, I'd like to try and understand what the mindset is by giving you a definition, or what I believe to be the principles behind the term. And that would be a certain set of beliefs that you hold about something that can maybe distort or even influence you positively if used in the right way. So let me give you an example. You have a certain belief that you are unable to achieve a certain thing, therefore you do not achieve that certain thing, whether it be, let's say it's an athletic thing. You don't think you're a fast runner, so you never will be a fast runner. I think that's the very basic idea of mindset. And I think it stems from the fact that the mind and mentality in general is a very powerful tool, specifically for the way you perceive things. And I think the idea being that your perceptions and concepts about things that you hold reflect or manifest rather directly in your life through some means or another. And that's the idea of mindset. So some of the things that I've been seeing in the past month or so, and actually one of the reasons I did this video is because I think there's a sort of, well, at least in my cyber ecosystem, there is a trend towards me seeing this stuff more often on YouTube and other platforms. Maybe your experience is the same thing. Let me know. I don't know. Chances are that if you're watching certain personality stuff and psychology and let's say personality type trait videos, then you might come across these type of mindset videos. And some of the types of mindsets that I think are being sold as products, quote unquote, by a lot of people on the internet would be the money mindset, the health mindset, I don't know what I wrote there. The cure cancer mindset. And I think I want to kind of explore those concepts a bit more in this video and see if you guys can relate to it, or if you have any more information, just please let me know. So let's take the first one that I wrote, which was the money mindset. I think this is a big one because, well, especially given this past year, there'll be a lot of people out of employment, a lot of people struggling with finances. I think that's just a common occurrence in almost the everyday life. But I mean, it's a very complex situation. I think it's built up partly because of the system that we have created. I don't want to get into that right now. Maybe that'll be another video. I doubt it though, but let's just say it is. So the idea of finding or trying to solve people's problems, I suppose, would be the idea of the business model behind almost any sort of product that you make. And I think that's just a standard approach. But let's just take this one, for example, the money mindset, right? The idea being that you are poor because you think this certain way. Now, I think there's a certain truth to the way you perceive things, and the way you think about things will manifest in your life. I believe that's just a product of the way our consciousness works. Again, it's a very intricate sort of thing, which I don't think I can really explore the whole concept or topic in one video, and I might elaborate on this later in later videos. But I think for this one, I'll just try and stick to very basic ideas and principles about mindset, and maybe more about an opinion rather than trying to inform you about it, because it's what this first part's about. Sorry, I'm rambling a bit, but anyway, so that's the basic idea of mindset. So certain principles, beliefs, values that you hold that sort of tailor the way your experience is, and that is your experience of life. The money mindset being one idea, where you're poor or you're rich because you think a certain way. The health mindset, which would be you're unhealthy or you're healthy because you think a certain way. It got me thinking a bit about, this is where the MBTI ties into it. Personality and mindset. Is there a personality mindset? Are you trapped through your personality type because you think a certain way? Because I think that's what or at least what I've gathered from the I think the 2 years of being really deep into MBTI is that, it's more about the way you perceive things and the way you think about things that gives you a certain type, rather than you are put into this box and you are that way. But these two subjects together are very interestingly interlinked in both a correlative and uncorrelative way. And what I mean by that is, if you take your personality type, right? I'm assuming most of you are INTJs, because you might be on this channel because you are an INTJ. If you're not, you're a friend, so you're still welcome. But let's take your personality type, whatever it may be, and then think about the concept of the mindset and the kind of beliefs that you hold. I think the idea behind the MBTI is that you are that kind of person because you perceive the world and you experience life that way. Therefore, can you actually adapt your mindset to be different from that? And I think, fundamentally, I believe yes, because I think transcending any sort of barrier is just natural to the human experience and natural to us. And I think if you're not doing that, you're not really living. You're not really pushing the consciousness forward. And I do really subscribe, let's say, to the belief of Jung's unconscious collective, who was actually the progenitor of the MBTI. It was adapted by Myers-Briggs. I don't really know the history that well. I should probably brush up on that. But if we take Jung's synchronicity theory, then I think there's a lot to be said about the way we put our 2 cents into the way everyone else thinks as well. And that kind of shapes it. And I think that's what the mindset perspective, or the mindset, or let's say the mindset trends have been trying to tap into, is that you sort of take out of the human experience what you're thinking about. I think there's a lot of connection there. And it is possible, or even perceivable, let's say, that a certain personality type might be more well suited to having a certain mindset. Let's take the ENFP, for example. And this is the only other one I really talk about because my soon-to-be wife is an ENFP, so it's the one I've had direct experience with. Let's take them, for example, an ENFP, right? And they might be more applicable to having a friendly, approachable type of personality. Therefore, they might have the mindset of bear with me here, the mindset of human experience, i.e. they are more connected to that human experience in a personal way than another type would be. But does that mean that if you were to change your mindset to be more, or leaning towards that, would your experience change, therefore your personality type change as well? I think there's something to be said there. Now, does that mean an INTJ will ever be an approachable person? That's a joke, of course they are. But like an INFP, I don't know. That's the thing, I don't know, and I don't think so either. I think there's a lot of there's a lot of things written in the history books about personalities being set in at the very young age. I think sometimes even at the youngest age of 7, being some place I read. In fact, the Jesuits, which were a Catholic sect, they still are, would often say, "Give me the boy, and I'll give you the man." So they're saying that they'll take the boy in, the child, raise him till 7 years old, and they'll give you the man, whatever he may be in the future, because the idea being that whatever is taught and imprinted before then is what you will be. It's an interesting thing as well, because it kind of makes you wonder about predetermination and sort of transcendence as well, because I think that's the idea, is that is our human experience only to be predetermined, or are we to transcend this predetermined state of affairs in our own existence? Again, I said that this would be a bit of an exploratory subject, so I might go off on a tangent a couple of times here. But I do want to try and wrap this up as well, because I don't want to keep you guys here forever. So that was my main thoughts there, was about how these two, the personalities and the mindsets, connect. And I think what I can say is that, you're not limited by your beliefs, or rather, you're not limited by your personality, but you might be limited by your beliefs. Because I think you should leverage what you're good at, and the personality types will show you that. Like an INTJ being a very intuitive type, and a very, the extroverted thinking function being very good at organizing the external world. I mean, use those strengths. But here's the opinion part, actually. I think when it comes to the mindset thing, you have to be a bit weary of the kind of things you're looking at as well on the internet, because there's a tendency for the untangible to be manipulated in a way that preys on weakness. So I will tell you a little bit about my own personal experience, actually, with the kind of mindset things, and it primarily came from stuff like law of attraction, manifestation stuff. So thinking a certain way and being able to bring that into your life. I think there is, again, as I said before, a lot of truth in that. I'm very big into meditation. I did it. I've since stopped for a while, and that's probably why I'm feeling a bit under than usual. But in doing that, sort of bringing myself back to what is here and what is now, which is a bit counter to what an INTJ is like, because they're more future thinking, more forward focused. But I think there is a necessity for everyone to bring themselves back to the now, because it's the only real thing that exists. The future is not a real thing. It's just a perceived idea or whatever. I mean, an INTJ might be very good at understanding the trends and what could appear in that moment of non-existence, but fundamentally it's not real. It's not a real thing. We only have this experience right now. So I think ultimately what the mindset is trying to experience, or what all these different types of mindsets are trying to come back to, is the now, and how we can experience, if that makes any sense. And what I mean is that, can you really sit there and experience exactly what is happening now and the now? That's the concept of yoga. It's the concept of many spiritual practices. And in fact, I will make a video on this, because I did try to make one before, and I think I scrapped it, so I'll redo it, which is on the MBTI and spirituality. I think there's a lot of connection there, and I think psychology in itself is a bastardized approach to spirituality, and I think it's a bit of a rational approach to something that is inherently irrational and chaotic, and that is just the human experience in general. I think it's very noble that there are people out there that try and apply these rational techniques to something that can be very complex, and it has so much value when something comes out of it. And I'm thinking of people like Jung as well, and philosophers mostly, who may not be psychologists, but but have obviously given a lot to the world. So again, a bit of a ramble, but I'll wrap it up here and saying I think the mindset idea is one that can be very beneficial to you if used in the correct context. And there are tools like meditation and positive thinking that can help you in understanding yourself better. But I don't think you should rely on only how you think in manifesting what you need in your life. Because I think one thing that I've learned in this past month, particularly, especially let's say in the New Year's, was that it's action that counts. By their deeds you know them, and I think this is a very important sentiment to work on. Is that you need to take action in how you want to direct your life. And it's the same idea for an INTJ as well. I think planning is a good thing, but if you can't get started on something, or you can't actually get to the next step because you don't take action, then it will never happen. I mean, I feel like it's a universal law. But so yeah, take action and hold life by the horns, or whatever other part. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a bit of an exploratory ramble, but I think we'll be going back to some regular broadcasts and regular shows on the INTJ. And if you like this kind of stuff, I'll throw more of it in. I think I'll do it anyway because I like talking about it. But keep tuned for that MBTI and the nature of spirituality video. I think that'll be very interesting if you liked this one. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks, and bye now.